Hey everyone. Decided to do something I haven't really done in a while. Talk about like comics and stuff, or at least in this case, something related to a comic. Um, Seen a lot of people talking about the upcoming Spider-Man cartoon, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I believe the title is, and they I guess they swap race swapping in the show. Maybe I don't know. It's interesting. With um, Norman Osborn and his son Harvey Osborn, um, the Green Goblin, because um, character in the cartoon. In the cartoon, he can be black. Probably show a picture of him. Probably maybe show both. Well, Norman's could be black, and of course, his son will also be black. Harvey, who's Peter Parker's friend, for those who don't read comics. So anyway, I think it's interesting because a lot of times when this happens, you do get a lot of people talking. In this case, I've been only really saw the top in like black nerd spaces, like Facebook groups. I know more generals usually sometimes didn't really feel like looking at. It got into woke general, so it's like okay. Um, for those who other people that get upset about stuff like that, I think it's a little bit more interesting because I think people talk about that how they get upset, but I think it's interesting looking at more black nerds. It's like, oh yeah, we're just people are tired of seeing reused characters. They people want to see black characters, so like they want we want to see black characters, but not everyone. Um, so now with the idea of switching races to put in characters, on the other end, I think people just there's some people that are vocal who don't want to see non-white characters. It seems, but I don't want to talk about them. Skip them. We already know they had an issue, and I think but on the we want to see characters of different races. Now we don't, but don't necessarily see the changing. I think it's interesting with the Osborns because, and I get it. Well, two things. I think it's interesting with the Osborns, but also I get why companies like Marvel will do this. Um, so I'm not really big. They're really just taking old IP and trying to push it out again and as much as they can. They know people like Spider Man, so they're gonna push out Spider Man. You know, on like the end of like DC end, people like Superman, they're gonna push Superman. And so instead of putting out maybe creating new characters or putting out the ones that they already have that haven't really gotten spotlight, they kind of just switch a couple of things around, because they also realized that people back when they were created, people weren't people wanted diversity, I guess, but not well. Companies didn't realize that. Now they realize, oh, people want to see themselves reflected, and they're like, oh, people besides white people who white comics and cartoons and stuff like that. And I don't know if they didn't hit them. But yeah, so they didn't push as many diverse cast and stuff like that. So when it comes to like re-putting out something like a Spider-Man or Superman or whatever, sometimes they're like, okay, we have this character, we have this set people, but you know what? It might not be diverse, so we want to change this so we can reflect more people. I get it. It is what it is. Kind of so I'm not like, oh, it's like a thing where it's like it doesn't upset me, but also it's not like yay for me. That's how I feel. It's like okay, I get it. Um, Now, what I think is interesting with the Osborns is because growing up, I was noticed when you look at if you ever see how they were drawn or at least their hair, it is could be to assume that maybe they were black. I know I've seen online spaces people will say pointing out the same thing, like, oh, maybe just light skin or they're mixed. So, you know, having black wasn't like super like, oh wow, they changed range. It's like, oh, finally, they're not passing. That's how really. I think it is interesting. I just that's just my ramble about it. But yeah, but in the larger context, like I said, they're just pushing out IP. This is a reason maybe support indie creators, black-owned creators, or race that are actually pushing out new stuff. Since if you want, I want see my representation, but I don't want to see race swapping because that's what they are. It's gonna be like this in the new Spider-Man cartoon where maybe switching characters' race, or you have something like the Falcon becoming Captain America or something like stuff like that. But yeah, it's interesting. And then, but it's also talking about the Spider-Man cartoon. It's also interesting though. Besides the race swapping, they did kind of bring in other characters. Like they're going back to like high school Peter when he's like in high school age, and I thought it was interesting because I thought I saw something about them. There was a character. If you've seen the trailer, a football character in the show was African American, and it was easy to assume that it was Flash Thompson, a character from the Spider-Man books. When Spider-Man was in high school, he's kind of Spider-Man's, well, Peter Parker's not Spider-Man. Peter Parker's bully, but he also really liked Spider-Man. He was like a fan of Spider-Man, but he would, rag on Peter Parker. He was like, oh, there's a football character who's African American, easy to jump to Flash Thompson. But I was looking at Wiki. Apparently, is Lonnie Lincoln, who is actually the villain Tombstone, who, if I'm correctly, Tombstone is African American. The way he's color drawn, I think he's in the comics is different because I think he's albino. So you might not know he's African American looking at him, the way they draw him, but this is not the case with this version. That's no, he's albino. That's I remember. I remember me seeing another character, but he is drawn, colored, I should say, to like more of a whiter skin tone, as when he's as Tombstone. So that's interesting. They also have an educator. It's not what's her name? Nico Minoru, who normally in the comics is a member of the team Runaways. It was like a group of kids, teen superheroes. Who it's been a while since I read that. I think they found out their parents were like, I don't know, this might be a spoiler, like evil somehow, and then I don't remember. They ran away, but I think they had powers. I don't quite remember the details of the team. But yeah, I do remember that. I guess they were experiments or something. Like I said, it's been a while since I read the comic. I never really read all of them. I think I read a couple issues. But that's also we're talking about the races. They are bringing diversity, but they are bringing in different characters or kind of changing characters. Who knows? We don't know what Lonnie will he in the cartoon series become Tombstone, because that can be, interesting. But yeah, so they do bring in stuff, and it's as I said, this is not unknown, because they did race swapping in Spider-Man stuff before. If you the movies, speaking of Flash Thompson, the newer Spider-Man movies, as newer at the time, I don't know if they're ever recast by the time this gets out. Just kidding. Flash Thompson is Southeast Asian descent. I'm not sure the actor's actual background, and they don't say it in the show, but he's not a white guy like he's in the comic. And then, and I don't know if this counts as race swapping because it's really weird because Peter Parker's friend, Ned, the name, like kind of had a cartoon, like this cover cartoon, they have a villain who's a friend. The detective villain made him a friend. His name is the same as the Hobgoblin's secret identity's name. But the character itself is clearly Genki, who is Miles Morales' the Spider-Man version, friend. So, it's the race, the look, his personality, the character's personality pretty much is Genki, but it has Ned's name. It forgot the character's last name. And so, I don't know if that counts as, but I don't know, I just think it's interesting how is the upset, people are like, But but if you are wanting stuff like Marvel and stuff like that, support when they do have stuff like take black characters and give them their own thing. Because I know there's an Ironheart series coming up sooner or later. I don't know when. I lost track. Cause I know it got pushed back, but I think it comes out this year. And so, and that's a African American superhero. It's a girl who has her own, like I would say Iron Man in comic. She figured out how Iron Man made his suit with his injury system, so she made her own suit and like that. But in the Marvel in the movie universe, she's more connected to Black Panther. But still has her own like Iron Man like suit. So we'll see how that goes on this series. Yeah, but then and I guess going back to Spider-Man cartoon, another outcry thing is, like I said, they changed the race of Norman Osborn, his son Harvey's Peter Parker's friend. The way he looks, I haven't seen the cartoon. I don't have to put out, but people, the character had, probably a picture of him, like the earrings, and maybe the puff of some people like, but people think, oh, he looks more effeminate, so that brings out a lot of people's homophobia. Look, we don't know. I haven't seen the cartoon show yet. If the kid's gay or not doesn't really matter to me. That doesn't seem to be a big issue. Just one of those things that people might get upset about something. I don't know. You can say, oh, kids watching it, but then that's the biggest issue is kids watching straight kids. I don't think that's going to affect kids really. So maybe if they end up being gay or straight, they'll be more tolerant of people or be okay with themselves. Maybe that's what people are upset about. I don't know. But, it's just interesting how I've seen this pop up. But yeah, so I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that. I just thought it was interesting how the race, people are upset about it. But so let me know how you feel. In the comments. Do you don't care? Do you care one way or the other? I also say support independent creators too. I guess who actually are putting out new content. Things like Marvel, Disney, it's all about pushing out old stuff. They seem to be more than actually pushing out new stuff. And look, nostalgia gets me. I might check out those new Spider-Man cartoon because I have Disney Plus, and I bought Disney Plus. A lot of it is instead of watching the Marvel Universe and stuff, the heroes and stuff. So it does work, I guess. But this doesn't need new stuff, and a lot of the other stuff they're trying to push was made in a time period where diversity wasn't really thought of like that. Like, oh, you should have reflect people, or didn't even think about the market of people are into different stuff. So they're pushing stuff, and so if you want new stuff that reflects you or people or just think people should have representation, check out media that's new creative media that themselves. It's a good reason to check out new people. Of course, I think we are now in an age though where people seem to be pushing back from that. So I don't know. It's weird. That's another conversation. But that's just my rambling thought. I just think it's interesting how people are upset about this when it's always like, oh yeah, the Osborns probably might likely be at least got a little black in them. Maybe. Just people looking at the hairstyle because they have the wave cap. They have the waves. They put on the wave cap. All that. It doesn't look how normally characters are drawn and white characters' hairstyles are drawn. Which actually makes me think about something because I've seen a lot of times when I'm reading characters, when they draw black characters, they also draw characters more of I would say black hairstyles all the time too. So it's interesting that the Osborns had a look and probably weren't supposed to be black, but you look at people and say, oh, maybe sneaking in there. Or they were, I don't know. But have a good day.